Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the SavSocial912 Podcast. I'm here with Steven, who's going to tell us about kind of a cool new event happening at Club One. So this is going to be on May 25th, and this is like a magic show / cabaret. How would you explain it?
It's definitely a magic show first and foremost, but it's not a magic show in the sense of bright and cheerful and happy and like people bouncing across the stage with giant boxes and
No lady getting sawed in half.
Yeah, it's definitely more in the creepy. It's kind of like Vincent Price and Alice Cooper doing a magic show or something. It's a little darker, a little more macabre. Definitely some circus sideshow thrown in there.
That's cool. So how many people are like performing?
It's me. It was primarily my show, and then I'm lucky enough to have a roommate who's also into this kind of stuff, not necessarily magic, but the stage.
Yes.
Jeremiah Kaiser is helping me out, just kind of as more of an assistant.
Well, so I interviewed Jeremiah for he was the White Rabbit in the Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, he was.
Yes, very iconic. So what goes into like planning out a show like this? Like, do you have certain tricks that you've like mastered and you like build an act around that?
Yeah. There's definitely things I'm doing in a couple weeks that I've been doing for 30 plus years. And then there's a couple other things that are just brand spanking new. I was sitting around the house a couple nights ago with a prop. And I love the prop, and I was like, what can I do with this? What can I do with this? What can I do with this? And it finally came to me. So we'll be doing that. And a couple other things that are relatively new. Just kind of switching it up. I did a show back in October and wanted to rearrange the show a little bit. So we're doing that.
Yeah.
Definitely some of the old, some of the new.
Yeah, I was going to say that must take a lot to like put everything that you have into like a cohesive act. So like, do you perform at Club One often, or like are you strictly illusions?
No, it's definitely excuse me. First, I usually consider my show like parlor magic. So it's not meant for a humongous auditorium, and it's geared for more than just a couple people at a table.
Right.
So it's small stage. It's perfect for Club One. And just as far as it takes me a while to find things that are right for my show or right for my, it's kind of like a singer. There's lots of songs out there, but the singer wants to really focus on the songs that are perfect for him or her. And that's kind of like me with magic. There's tons of magic effects out there. Right. Thousands. And it takes me a long time to find the ones that are right for me. So, we're constantly moving things in and out of the show as far as like, oh, let's try this, let's try that.
Yeah, it must take a lot to like curate all of that. I've only been to like a few magic shows. I got to go to one in LA at the Magic Castle, and that was really cool. So I can definitely see like the vision of what you're trying to do and like the size of the Club One like cabaret theater sense. So are you going to be like interacting with people? Like is anyone going to like come up for a trick or anything?
Yeah, we're going to bring a couple people up on stage. Not a whole lot of people on stage. I want to get something out there right now. If you do not want to come up on stage, you do not have to come up on stage. I think there's this idea of like, oh my God, I don't want to go to the magic show because he might come bring me up on stage. Like, you don't want to come up on stage? I'm okay with that.
Love it. So what's like the story behind how you got into doing like magic and performing and all that?
It like most magicians, it started off, early teens, like 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever. And my dad bought a package for a bunch of different shows when I was like 11 or 12. And one of the performances was Harry Blackstone Jr. And he took me to the show, and it was just like the hooks were in. Before that, I had seen like a couple, magicians at like elementary schools and stuff like that. but it was the first like full size magic show, with the big box illusions and stuff like that, and lots of assistants, and it was his father's show primarily, Blackstone Senior, and it was definitely the old style 1920s style of magic show, which is just I love it. I mean, it's very period piece kind of thing,
Exactly.
but no one really does stuff like that anymore. But it was so cool to see like a vintage magic show like going on back in the long time ago. Um, but no, that got the hooks in, and it just kind of went from there. I've come and gone out of magic several times since then, where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and I sell off everything, and then 10, 15 layers, buy everything back again, and so I'm definitely in a phase right now, and it's lasted a good couple of years, and I'm enjoying it.
No, that's amazing. And I'm really happy to hear that you're bringing some variety to Club One. Like the more shows or events that I've been covering with Club One, I'm just discovering like there's so much more to it. Like I think from an outsider looking in, you assume Club One's just like a drag show bar, but there's so
Right.
much more for like performing arts and like the theater scene. And I like that you guys have a place and a platform for like a freedom to express yourself and like try something different.
Right.
It's like I can't even imagine being in your shoes and like putting on a full like it just being a one, not like a one man show, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's a
Right.
lot to mentally put together, but then to also like I'm sure all of the coordinating of like the tricks and like your timing and all that, it seems like a lot of pressure.
It it is. Luckily, I got like Gwen doing sound over there. She's phenomenal, and she knows me and knows the show well enough that she pretty much knows where it's going.
Yes. And then
And
I may have interviewed Gwen for the POTUS show.
you did, yeah, she did.
Very cool. I've had a few Gwens on the show in the past couple of weeks. But I'm definitely starting to like learn more about like what's going on behind the scenes and that there's a lot of people who are kind of like fixtures to getting these shows put on in like a short amount of time and it's very
Right.
impressive. Do you have any like set pieces or like I know you said you kind of have like a strange like
Primarily the thing behind me right now.
yeah, I was
Um,
admiring that.
that's definitely new. I just did that like a month ago. But anyway, that's primarily the set. There's a couple tables, some chairs. It's relatively simple, but everything definitely has a aesthetic that fits together.
Yes.
Like you definitely look at all the set pieces and go, yes, all these set pieces go together. Um, but other than that, yeah, no, got some lighting I bring in. We use a lot of like UV, purple, black light
So cool.
for things. Definitely go with a very different and distinct look. If you see the show once, um, and you kind of like walk past the stage some other time, and you'd be like, "Oh, that's Steve's Deception Theater setup." So,
Yes. So I love the concept of deception theater. I know you said you did an event in last October
mhm.
and now you're doing one this spring. So is this something you're trying to do like a few times a year or like do you want to do it more?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would love to find a place where I can do it, every weekend or on a regular basis. I would, especially if I could find a house that's more targeted towards basically tourists.
Right.
I would love to get in with like Savannah Theater or something like that and be something where it's, targeting primarily, the tourist and keep my hooks in there.
Yeah.
There's just so few stages, decent houses, with, a decent stage and decent lights and not 10,000 drunk people and,
Yeah.
people who actually want to see a show as opposed to.
There's definitely like a sweet spot for that.
Yes.
And I think like Jeremiah, when I did an interview with him a couple weeks ago, he really kind of highlighted the fact that there's not a lot of like theater performance spaces in Savannah, especially like after COVID. So like
Mhm.
I think I appreciate you also kind of like highlighting that point once again. And it's like important for our community to come and like, attend these shows and enjoy like
Right.
local theater scene has to offer. Cause I think
Right.
it's growing into something like so much more than anyone expected.
Yes.
I'm definitely learning a lot. So, is there anything else you want to share like about the show? Can you like name any tricks that you're going? You don't have to explain them. I know there's a whole.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, there is definitely some weird. I mentioned like circus sideshow kind of freak anomaly kind of weird stuff. Um, and I don't. I want to leave that.
Yeah.
I would say there's three different things in the show. There's the freak show kind of anomaly, kind of weird stuff. There's more traditional magic pieces, I would say. I try not to always make them look like traditional magic pieces just because they aesthetically they have to fit the show. And then towards the end of the show, probably the last thing in the show, we're doing a basically it's a staging of a late 1800s, early 1900s seance.
Oh, very cool.
So little table, probably get some like spirit slates out like they used to use. Um, Maybe some other props like bells or tambourines or something like that if we can find them. And just kind of like doing a recreation of what they did. Not necessarily that we're going to summon up spirits and demons and all kinds of other things, but
Right.
to show people what you could expect if you went to go see a medium back in the day.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And I don't think anyone's really doing that right now. Matter of fact, I know no one's doing that right now, and that there's some big emphasis on not big emphasis, but big interest in
Yes.
Savannah and in Ghost and this and the other. So I think it's kind of cool.
Savannah definitely has like a strange side to it, which I really like, and I think that's what like kind of sets it apart from like Charleston and like Atlanta. There's just
Right.
something very like
Yeah, people say that we like engage our ghosts and spirits, and like Charleston just kind of like pretends it doesn't exist, and like
yes, I know it. I was at the Paranormal Museum with Chris, the owner, and he was kind of saying like you're not really a true Savannah local unless you've like shared a house with a ghost. So
right.
definitely agree. And I think there's a lot of like we are building kind of a subculture of that style. Like we have the Paranormal Museum, like the True Crime Grave Feast Museum.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are doing events like this, and I think it would be interesting to see what happens if like you guys all like cross promote or something.
Right.
Like there's definitely a scene for that here.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm very excited. I just want to like echo back. So this is going to be the 23rd or no, the 25th. Okay.
25th.
I'll cut this part. I'm going to echo this back. So this is going to be the 25th, and this is Deception Theater happening at Club One. And then what's like your performance name? Or do you go by
Deception Theater?
Okay, cool.
It's kind of like an umbrella. Everything falls under Deception Theater.
Yeah, I love it. I think that branding is fabulous. And then I'm going to just close with like one kind of not trick question, but out of left field question. If you could sit and have a drink with like any performer, magician, who would you want to like sit and have a drink with? Is there someone that like inspires you or
If you asked me this question a couple of years ago, you probably would have gotten a totally different answer. But a couple of years ago now, there was a magician out of Chicago named Eugene Berger who passed away. And I met him a couple of times at a couple of different conventions. We just kind of crossed paths probably about 3 or 4 times. And I was at a convention once and he just walked up to me. I was just kind of standing there bored. I was all by myself. I was definitely feeling lonely. And he approached me and just started talking to me. And I immediately knew who he was. I was like, Eugene Berger's talking to me. I'm like, this is weird.
oh my God.
And we just kind of grew a friendship out of that. And it wasn't like we talked every day, but anytime I was going to a convention or something like that, I could get in contact with him and be like, hey, can we do a meal or do this and that? So I met him a couple times, and definitely one of those people who's not a big name in the world as far as like everyone doesn't know Eugene Berger, but as far as the magic community, everyone knew Eugene Berger. Yeah. He wrote several books and was very, very influential, and just had very distinct view on magic. And anytime you read this stuff, you were like, this is right. This is the way to think about it and go about it. And just, so he's definitely the person I would get in contact with.
Very cool.
Maybe we'll hold him for the seance.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so much fun. Well, that sounds fabulous. I'm excited to see like how your show pans out and learn more about like the magic culture and seeing, you know, the community share doing that. So I appreciate you reaching out and taking the time to like walk me through what your event's going to entail.
Yes, Memorial Day weekend, so you don't have to worry about like work the next day or something, hopefully.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, that makes sense why it's like late on a Sunday.
Late on a Sunday.
Yeah, I felt to like it though, you know, spooky.
Right. I couldn't believe no one else took that time slot. I'm like, it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm doing it.
Yeah, I love it. So, and are you marketing in anywhere else, like on Instagram or like?
Definitely Instagram. Especially as we get closer, I'll be doing more Instagram stuff.
Yes.
Probably some flyers and whatnot at Club One, obviously, and a couple other Instagram groups that I want to get in contact with here as far as like groups that promote within Savannah.
Yes.
Hitting them up. But yeah, hopefully you can make it.
I'm excited for this one because I think it sounds very different from the normal shows I've been going to.
Oh, it will be.
Awesome. Yay. All right. Well, I'm very excited. I'm sure over the next week or so, we'll see more of your stuff popping up. And if you have any more events, I'd love for you to come back on.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of the SavSocial912 Podcast. Thanks for joining me, Stephen. And stay social, Savannah.